Today on Creatively Bambi, one pot chili. To make your chili, you are going to need a lot of different ingredients, but it's so easy because you throw it all in one pot, then you let it go, and dinner is done in a snap. Let me show you what all you're going to need. First, you're going to need some water. That's obviously going to be used to thin out your chili. You're going to need some kidney beans, canned tomatoes, tomato paste. If you want, optional is some red pepper flakes for a little bit of heat, garlic powder, salt and pepper, cumin, oregano. I'm using today for my chili, some ground turkey, peppers, onions, and also fresh garlic. That's what you're gonna need. I know it looks like a lot, but most of this you probably have on hand in your pantry anyway, and it makes for the perfect chili. Nothing too fancy schmancy, it's just good old chili any time of year. And you can use it for a whole bunch of different stuff. Nachos, stuffed peppers, or just as is. We can get into all that a little later. But to get started, we are going to get our pan going. I have it preheated there, ready to go. And I'm gonna throw in some extra virgin olive oil. I didn't say that on my ingredients list, extra virgin olive oil, but you probably have that on hand already too, right? So we got that in our pot. It's nice and hot. We're gonna throw in our onions and our green peppers. So I'm gonna let that go, give it a quick stir, and those are just gonna soften up, and they're gonna get nice and lovely. And while those are cooking, I'm gonna hit it with just a little salt and a little pepper. I like to season in layers, okay? You gotta season as you go, because seasoning as you go makes sure that every little thing you put in there gets enough love. All right, so while that cooks, I'm gonna go ahead and get the garlic all chopped up and ready to go. All right, so you're gonna give that a little mash with the back side of your knife. Peel off that skin and get to chopping. Now, if you don't feel confident, super confident with your handiwork with a knife, you can always get a garlic press. And the way that works is you just pop in the whole clove once you've got the skin off, and then everything is kind of minced up for you. It's really nice. I know a lot of people say that they don't like tools in the kitchen that only have one use, but I love a garlic press. I just didn't have it on hand, or I would have used it. All right, in the pot this goes. I'm gonna throw in my ground turkey. This is 94% lean ground turkey. Use whatever you have on hand. Some people like to use ground chicken. You could even go for some pork in there if you want to, or obviously a ground beef chili is what's most traditional. I just wanted to lighten it up a little bit and make it a little healthier. And with all of these seasonings, honest to goodness, you could not tell the difference that it isn't ground beef. Or you could use a little turkey and a little bit of beef. I do that a lot of the time too. But typically I use whatever I have on hand or whatever is on sale. All right, we're all about saving some cash, right? So to me, that's probably the easiest way to go. So I'm gonna throw this turkey into the pot. Next step, while that meat is cooking, you're gonna throw in your seasonings, okay? Because we wanna make sure that meat is seasoned up really, really well, because obviously it doesn't come with the seasoning, right? So we're gonna season with salt, get a little more in there, good pinch of salt, good hit of pepper. We're gonna go with our garlic powder. In addition to the fresh garlic we put in there, here's our oregano and cumin. All right, now you'll notice that I did not use chili seasoning that you can buy in the store. It has cumin and pretty much all the other stuff in there. Chili powder is what you're gonna find it called in your store probably. I don't like to buy that. I like to control the seasonings that go into my chili, and this way I like it just like this. This is my recipe, and I don't want anyone else doing my seasonings for me, you know? I'll do my own seasonings. All right, so the next thing you're gonna do, those seasonings are in there and they're marrying and they're getting all gorgeous and lovely. Next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna throw in your tomatoes. When I went to the store to get the ingredients for this recipe, for some reason they didn't have the diced tomatoes, so I got a can of whole tomatoes. You see these little specks on there? This in particular, this is a fire roasted tomato. You can get that if you want, or you can just get the regular ones. Like I said, they came whole, but they need to be diced. Who wants to bite into a whole tomato? So I just take my kitchen shears like this. Probably not the way they were meant to be used, but this is why I love kitchen shears so much. These are all diced up now, ready to go. Check that out. And if you happen to look in the pot and you see one that's bigger than what you'd planned, well, then grab your kitchen shears again and run through them one more time. No biggie. Boy, if you could smell this right now. It smells so good. All right, so I'm gonna throw in these tomatoes that I diced with my scissors, all right? And our tomato paste. This gives any chili a whole lot of depth, a lot of flavor. So tomato paste is in, and we're gonna stir all that up. Last two ingredients, in they go. We've got our water and we've got our red kidney beans. I have been known before, if I didn't have kidney beans on hand, to throw in either white beans or black beans. Use whatever you have. It's all gonna soak into all those spices with all that liquid. It's not really gonna make a difference. Traditionally, yes, kidney beans are used, but use whatever you have, I say. All right, whoops, I'm throwing beans all over the place. All right, there they go, in the pot. Now, depending on how thick you do or do not want your chili, that's gonna be how much water you use. This recipe in particular, I just have kind of a range of water to put in there. So put in less, let it cook, and then add more if you feel like you need to add more. But just remember, you can always add more. It's really hard to take it out of there, okay? So add less, then add more as you go, if you want it. All right, so at this point, everything is mixed in there. It's absolutely beautiful. It looks like Christmas in this pot, I'm telling you. But you can have chili anytime, right? So we're gonna let this come up to a boil. I'm gonna put the lid on it and then let it simmer for 1.5 to 2 hours. Now, I will say, chili, once it's done, this recipe in particular, is absolutely delicious, but there's something about day 2 when it comes to a pot of chili. So make sure you have extra on hand. The leftovers, I'm telling you, so good. And what else I like about this recipe is you can always freeze whatever you aren't ready to eat before it goes bad, and it thaws out wonderfully. So go ahead and double the batch and then have some in a week or 2 or 3 or 4, however long in your freezer you want to keep it. And then that's another meal that you don't have to make. All right, lid on, and we're gonna let it go. All right, check it out. The chili is done and it is just perfection. I'm gonna go ahead and scoop some up in my bowl. I know you see the steam barreling off of it, right? Everything's in there. It's so perfect. I love chili. The way I like to eat my chili, growing up, my mom used to always make it with grilled cheese. I either have it with a grilled cheese or some lovely cornbread. Can't go wrong with that. That's your little dunking mechanism there, all right? Or you can even crumble it on top. You can put sour cream on top, some onions, cheese, whatever you want. The world is yours, my friend. Now let me give you a little tip. If something happens that your chili is scorched on the bottom and you'll feel it stuck to the bottom as you're stirring it, stop stirring and just pour your chili into another pot, all right? Because if you keep stirring it, you're gonna get up all that burnt flavor into the chili, and you don't want that. So just pour it into another pot. Do that with anything that you ever accidentally scorch. Stop stirring, transfer it to another pot. That's it. Chili, turkey chili today. Try it, all right? Make it for a group of people. Thanks for checking in with me. I'll see you next time.